Hey everyone, it's Julie. Today we'll be making red velvet cake jars. I wanted to share these because they're so adorable. Valentine's Day is tomorrow, and I'm always looking for an excuse to make red velvet cake. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is make the red velvet cake. You're going to want to combine all of the wet ingredients, which include eggs, vegetable oil, buttermilk, vanilla extract, red food coloring, and sugar. The exact recipe will be over on my website, cookbyjulie.com. And you can, of course, use a cake mix, but I prefer to make my own. I always have the ingredients on hand, so it's just, I guess, a little easier for me to just make it from scratch. I then added the all-purpose flour with the cocoa powder and salt, and here I just have some baking soda and apple cider vinegar that I mixed together. It's going to foam up just a little, and then I added it to the batter. And now I usually use about a tablespoon and a half of cocoa powder for the red velvet cake, but because I wanted this a deep red, like a very nice red color, I used only about a teaspoon of cocoa powder. Alright, so go ahead and place the batter into a 9-inch greased baking pan, and then you just want to smooth it out. Bake it in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for about 27 to 30 minutes. Now for the cream cheese frosting, all you want to do is mix the butter with the cream cheese, throw in a little vanilla extract, add the powdered sugar, and you then want to mix this on medium-high speed for about 4 to 5 minutes or until nice and fluffy. This is what the red velvet cake should look like once it's done baking. I love the color. Make sure that it cools completely. I used a biscuit cutter to cut out the cake rounds. Make sure that the object you use is a tiny bit smaller than the jar you'll be using so it will fit in easily. I used an offset spatula to help me bring it out. That's what it will look like. If you want, you can use a serrated knife to cut it in half. For some jars, I left it like this, and then for other jars where I wanted 4 layers, I sliced it in half like so. So for these little jars, I use the cake rounds that I sliced in half, and it doesn't really matter which side you place in first. You want to place the cream cheese frosting into a piping bag, and then you want to just add about 2 tablespoons of the cream cheese frosting, then place another cake layer. And that's it. That's how it looks. Well, not that's it. You still have to frost the top. For this part, you may use a star tip so it's much nicer. I didn't have a star tip. I lost mine. I don't know what happened. So that's a little heart. I just use a little heart cookie cutter to cut those out, and that's what I use to decorate it. For this jar, I just used 2 large cake rounds. I didn't slice it in half with a serrated knife, and I just did 2 layers, and that's personally my favorite because I like a lot of cake. I'd rather more cake than frosting. Some cake jars have too much frosting and not enough cake. It does look nice, but it doesn't really taste too pleasant in my opinion. This jar I did 4 cake layers, and these cake jars have been around for a while, but lately they've been flooding my Instagram newsfeed. Speaking of Instagram, follow me if you'd like. And now the cake may seem like it's dry because there are a lot of crumbs roaming around, but trust me, this cake is super, super moist. This is the only red velvet cake recipe that I use. I think they look adorable. Again, the little heart is just something that I cut out with a cookie cutter. And these were so delicious. Look at the amount of cake versus the amount of frosting. I think it's perfect. I think they look perfect. They were so delicious. I hope you guys give these a try. Hope you have an amazing Valentine's Day. And I want to thank you all so much for watching.